All right. So today we're gonna be, well, we're gonna be doing a little bit of everything. I found a pretty good presentation on climate change. So it's gonna help you with vocabulary.
On what? Sorry?
Climate change.
Wow.
The good thing is that it has listening, it has speaking, of course, and it also has, you're not gonna be writing, but it has an analysis on writing pieces of writing. So it's gonna be good for everyone. And I was thinking tomorrow we could be writing an essay, so with timing and everything. So because you know that, for example, in the TOEFL test, you're gonna have to write an essay in 30 minutes or in 20, and so you need to practice writing under time pressure.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this.
Is 30 or 20 minutes?
In the TOEFL test?
Yes.
So it depends. There are two writing tasks, two essays that you're gonna have to write. One of which is an independent one. So it's the one kind of similar to the one we did in class. So that's gonna have, I mean, you're gonna have 30 minutes to write that essay. And the other one is a little bit easier because you're just gonna have to summarize something. So that one is 20 minutes long. Okay. So, all right. So this lesson is called Onward and Upward. Do you know what that means?
Onward is I think we said this yesterday, like onward is en camino, in progress, or something like that.
Okay, it has to do with that. Yeah, that was underway was the word, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but it has to do with that. So,
como que it's something reference to radio, probably. Like you're in
okay.
Al aire tal vez, ¿no?
No.
So no.
No.
No,
Not exactly.
I'm guessing. So
You know,
no,
all those words that end with word, first thing they talk about movement. Like, for example, forward, right? When you say you need to move forward, let's move forward.
Yes.
Exactly. Or backwards, right? So onward means to the right, and upward is like upward. So hacia arriba. Yes. And onward and upward. Yes, exactly. To the right and upward. And when you use them together, it's an expression. So for example, I could say we need to move onwards and upwards, or my career is going onwards and upwards. And that means it's changing for the better. So it's in the right direction, it's in the right path, is improving, is being better every time. So it's in the right direction. Right? So it expresses a change in a positive way. So it's a positive change, onward and upward.
But together.
Yes, together, usually in the plural form. So onwards and upwards. Let's look for an example. Let's see.
Okay.
And so it goes on, spiraling onwards and upwards. Congo at the moment is a very potent example of this cycle, spiraling onwards and upwards, faster and faster, conflict leading to more war, to more damage and destruction, to more ecocide. And so it goes on, spiraling onwards and upwards. It's what Sir David King.
So she's using it to actually to refer to something bad, but it means that it's increasing. It's like increasing. So onward and upwards. It's like there's no stop. Like it's a cycle that's repeating. That's improving or increasing.
Okay.
Look for onward.
And I think, you know, what they say, excelsior, onward and upward. So I have to say, Dr. Tom Trigg, thank you so much for your, so we are. And I think, you know, what they say, excelsior.
Yeah, we're systems is talking to one another.
And that allows you to keep working on your system.
Yeah, we're a data-driven system. We absolutely are.
And I think, you know, what they say, excelsior, onward and upward. So I have to say, Dr. Tom Trigg, thank you so much for your thinking and your ability to lead and your excellence in being superintendent in the Blue Valley School District. And
So in that case, they're using it in a positive, with a positive context. So things are getting better. They're going onward and upward. But it basically means improving, increasing in quantity, in
a negative way, the negative form.
So what do you mean?
I mean, like this is possibly possible in a positive way, increasing, and in a negative,
it will be decreasing.
So it increased, yeah, but in a negative.
I mean, it's increasing the negative part. Right? It's
like,
not really decreasing. It's increasing, but something negative.
Okay, yeah.
So, for example, in my view, the general trend is onwards and upwards. So it's getting better and better. Or this new program blends both training and awards to support CDF is moving onwards and upwards. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what this has to do with artists. Okay. So it says change is coming. Climate change will alter our planet and societies in this century. So can you tell me what do you think about these opinions here? For example, the first one that says all societies will have to adapt or disappear. What do you think of that?
I mean, not adapt, but they need to change in order not disappear. So change what they do or the way they act. They don't conserve things and everything. It's not adapt. It's change for me.
Okay. You need to change. Okay, but you know that adapt means you need to change so that you can,
change in a better way. I mean, if you adapt to the new climate change, I mean, how can I explain that? You will be, oh no, it's okay to I mean to do bad things. I don't know. I forgot to throw the I mean, to use a lot of plastics, to don't take care of our planet, don't conserve plants, everything. So will be okay if we adapt for that. So we need to change our mind, you know, to stop doing all these things. Now it's clear.
Yeah, I got it. So yeah, that's true. So we cannot say, okay, it's already there, so I'm gonna continue doing it. But yeah, that's
okay, it's normal. People used to do that. I will do that too. It's normal. So no, it's not normal. So if we think that in that way, like we need to adapt or disappear. So no, I not. I mean, I not agree.
You don't agree?
I disagree. Sorry, I disagree about it.
Okay, you disagree with it. What about this one here? Climate change will bring advantages. Life has always been unpredictable. Humans will flourish as we always have.
Okay. I mean, both. So yeah, climate. What is that? Climate change. I mean, it's probably not advantages, but yeah, it's unpredictable. But it helps you in a better way to think and to be creative. So you don't have to do that or recycle. So that's be creative. People start using things that they don't use and transform in new things. So yeah, it for me, I think this is one of the more better advantage that climate change has.
Okay. Yeah, and that's true because they say the better ideas and the better solutions have come from the bigger problems. So,
yes.
Yeah, probably. So that's a very optimistic note, That's why the happy face is there.
Yes.
Now this other person says, I don't know, let's look at, all right, this one here. So it's clear that there will be more extreme weather events. Rich countries might be able to adapt, but the poor will suffer a lot. What do you think? Is there a difference between how rich people are going to face this climate crisis versus poor people?
Here it not says about people, it means countries. So probably, I'm in the middle of this comment. We can compare Bolivia to Swedish or some country like that. No. So yeah, we might suffer a lot, but we it also depends, because we can compare also the north, like north. There is descongelar and freeze. I don't know. Unfreeze, no.
Unfroze?
I know how to say like unfroze. Yes. There's you can see how notices that change, how powerful is there the climate change. So I think they are suffer more. Probably are in a better. They're richer than Bolivia, but they are suffer more than Bolivia. So it depends how hard is climate change in each country. So I don't know if in Bolivia it's a big change. Probably that you feel much. You feel like the climate change. Not the climate change, but the weather. Probably too cold or too. Or it's very extreme, like something that you don't feel. You used to feel here. No, I think that I'm not sure if this is something that came from the comment, but it depends. I mean, probably and probably not. It not depends the rich countries or poor countries. No.
Okay. So that is true, because this comment is about what you're saying, extreme weather event. So whether that's not so much, that doesn't have a lot to do with whether the country is rich or not. So it's more about where
Yes.
it's located, the geographic aspect of it. And yeah. But there are other things, like for example, you know how these uh, capitalist countries are, I don't know, for example, the US, most of their factories, they are not really in the US, you know, they are in like parts of South Africa or something, and they are contaminating their land. And that's why their resources are being exploited and even their people is being exploited. So I don't know. It doesn't have with weather events, but it does have to do with pollution and that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the movie Who Wants to Be Millionaire? About an Indian kids.
Oh yeah. I think the one that answers some questions in
Ah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
answer some questions. Yes, and I don't know if you remember in that part that they have to jump in a toilet. I mean, so so yeah, this is hard, and you can see how I don't know what I mentioned that movie, but I think I'm confused about the way that the trash is there, like mountains and people contaminate and everything.
So yeah. So yeah, that's true. I don't honestly remember everything from the movie, but yeah, it's true. So by the way, Mafe, you're cutting off a bit and you're frozen at times. So I think it might be your connection.
Okay.
So, yeah. Right now you're frozen.
I'm not.
You are frozen.
Okay. So I'm still frozen. Do you hear me?
I can hear you, but yeah, you get kind of stuck sometimes. But it's okay.
Yes.
Can you see my screen and listen
Yeah,
well?
I can.
Okay.
Can you see I'm moving? I'm moving. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
But with
Okay.
okay. So
No, I probably because I stay in one position, but
no,
now I'm
it's your connection because
like
it's
my
also
sleep.
you're cutting off too,
Okay.
so it's your connection.
Okay. Yeah, I probably is my connection, but okay. I will change if still happen.
Okay, so now we're gonna listen to this podcast. It's a podcast by Ben Drucker, I think, and it's on climate change as well. So we're gonna listen, and you need to find these words that are missing. Okay.
Okay.
Before we do that, though, let's think of what words we could have here. So what kind of words can go in the gaps, it says. So can you maybe read the passage?
Yeah, sure. Hi, and welcome to our Changing Word, the daily podcast where important is where we'll be discussing important issues affecting our world.
Great. So where we
Probably
discuss important issues, yes, it could be.
where we discuss, yes. And what is the H and D?
H and D.
It's how the word start. Ah, okay, no, don't worry.
Right.
Okay, I'm your host.
Yes,
Yes,
great. I'm your host.
and Drucker, and today we're talking about one of the most complex issues facing us today: climate change. Evidence can show that global temperatures are increasing, and higher temperatures and are already having significant and complex effects and I don't know complex
Okay, yes.
on the environment. I support the opinion that some global warming is I support the opinion that is increasing.
Okay.
Uh, I support the opinion that some global warming, it's, I don't know, increasing probably. So let's talk about that we can do to adapt to the changes that are already happening.
Okay, so everything's great. Those are really possible words, except this one, right? So evidence can shows, would that be correct?
Okay. Evidence can know of the S.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see what
Yes.
it.
Okay.
Let's hear the audio.
Hi.
Oh, I'm not sharing my sound.
Hi, and welcome to Our Changing World, the daily podcast where we discuss important issues affecting our world. I'm your host, Ben Drucker, and today we're talking about one of the most complex issues facing us today, climate change. Evidence clearly shows that global temperatures are increasing, and higher temperatures are already having significant and costly effects on the environment. I support the opinion that some global warming is inevitable. So let's talk about what we can do to adapt to the changes that are already happening.
Okay. So what were the words?
Yeah, discussing.
We discussed.
Host. Yeah. Discuss.
Yeah.
Host.
Okay, discuss, host. What else?
Clearly, evidence clearly shows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cause.
Cause effects?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
Would it make sense though? Temperatures are already having significant and cause effects.
No, it doesn't make sense. But and no, I don't. I heard costly.
Costly effects. You know what costly means?
Costoso. No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, costoso. Usually not for, like
Money.
yeah, not for money, that kind of value, but for something that's costly, that's costing you a lot. In other terms, not in terms of money. You could say pricey for money.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the last one?
The last one. No, I couldn't hear that.
Okay, let's listen to that part.
Okay.
We discuss important in our world. I'm your host, Ben Drucker, and today we're talking about one of the most complex issues facing us today, climate change. Evidence clearly shows that global temperatures are increasing, and higher temperatures are already having significant and costly effects on the environment. I support the opinion that some global warming is inevitable. So let's talk about what we can do to adapt to the changes that are already happening.
Okay. So what was?
Inevitable.
Good. So inevitable. So he says some
Inevitable.
yeah, some global warming is inevitable. So as you can see, this is sort of like a presentation, right? This guy here, Ben, first thing he's introducing the topic, right? We'll be discussing these issues affecting our world. Specifically, we're going to be talking about climate change. So he introduces the topic. Then he gives a short
Evidence.
evidence, some kind of context to put you in the mood. And then he presents his point of view, right? His thesis statement or his claim. So So what is he claiming here?
Some global warming, it's inevitable. So
Right.
let's talk about what we can do to adapt to the changes that are already happening.
So yes. So he's saying that he supports the idea, or he has the idea that global warming or some of it is inevitable. So we should just adapt to some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So do you think that's an optimistic side to take when we're talking about global change or global warming?
Global warming. Mm, it's, I mean, it's the same like the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Like the first comment, but without without saying that what I said before is not a or I mean, you know what I mean, right? Without, I mean, in the last comment I say that it's not okay to doubt, but here's not that I'm saying that it's okay to doubt, but
yeah, we need to have a different
has
mind.
both parts.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
So yeah, we need to have a strong, and maybe we don't have to be so optimistic or so so
Or so firm in one position.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So let's continue listening to what this guy says.
Okay, so just
try to look for those words.
Yes. Okay. Here are the words.
Yeah, in the previous one we didn't have them. Now we do.
Okay. I was confused because I didn't notice.
Yeah, now we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Farmers World.
Okay, you want to read first?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Mitigate the direct effect of climate change.
Okay.
As they okay. Wow. I don't think that is mitigate.
So mitigate, okay. Then what is
No, it's not. Farmers worldwide already seen. Yes.
Good. Already see the direct effect.
Yeah. The direct effect of climate change as they're mitigate. No, if they sorry. Direct I can see.
Sorry.
Sorry. As they to keep up with the changing water partners and unpredictable water supply. How they modernize something, you bring it out. When you modernize something, you bring it up to date. Yeah, I think it's mitigate or struggle, mitigate. Okay, let's. There are 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Just put mitigate. Okay.
Okay, don't worry about it. We'll see. No, don't worry.
Okay. On the one hand, farmers of key crops such as corn, potatoes, wheat, and rice are having a hard time. But on the other hand, some crops are struggle no diversify from the increase in carbon dioxide and lower growing season. The struggle because I think it's a tree.
Okay.
My performance needs to more modern. They need to diversify.
Yeah, diversify.
Diversify their crops and modernize their methods.
Okay.
To benefit the effects of climate. No, to mitigate is the right thing.
Yes, mitigate.
I'll say so. Benefit is the second.
The second is benefit.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound good.
Okay. Don't worry, we'll listen to the
Farmers were okay. Diversify. Yeah, I'm not sure about the first ones. Okay.
Okay.
Struggle.
Farmers worldwide are already seeing the direct effect of climate change as they struggle to keep up with the changing weather patterns and unpredictable water supplies. On the one hand, farmers of key crops such as corn, potatoes, wheat, and rice are having a hard time. But, on the other hand, some crops are benefiting from the increase in carbon dioxide and longer growing season. In my opinion, farmers need to diversify their crops and modernize their methods to mitigate the effects of climate change.
Okay.
It was our struggle and benefit.
Yes. Do you struggle?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing you can take into account, for example, the word is struggle, when you are using it with a verb, like for example, I'm struggling to see the truth, or I'm struggling to fill out these gaps, then you use the word to, right? So a struggle to do something. So you need that prepositioning. And the same with benefit. It always goes with from. So I'm benefiting from climate change, or from I don't know, from whatever it is. So yeah, struggle and benefit. So here, what is he saying here? He's talking about farmers, and what's his point here? The main idea.
The main idea.
Yes.
Okay. There is a change. So there is a change. So they have some ways to adapt to this change. I think that like here shows the ways they can adapt for the change, diversify, modernize.
So yeah, at the end they say, in my opinion, farmers need to diversify their crops and modernize their methods to mitigate the effects of climate change. That's his opinion, and it's supporting his claim, right? Because his claim was, well, it's inevitable and we need to adapt. So therefore, that this is one part in which we need to adapt. Farmers need to adapt. Now, but what else is he doing? For example, he says on the one hand and on the other hand. So why do you think he does that?
Like for, I mean, they are now in troubles. They're like you said, they're having a hard time. There are ways to get better of that.
Okay, so yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, those are transitions, right? On the one hand and on the other hand, and they show two opposing ideas. So first, he's showing how some farmers are struggling and are having a hard time because of climate change. But he
someone knows.
Yeah. They're actually benefiting from climate change or from the increase in carbon dioxide. So now let's see why he's doing that. But before we go there,
yeah, because it's contradictory.
Yeah, it's contradictory.
I normally do in my essays.
Yeah, but his position is still clear, right? You know what his position is because he's saying, in my opinion, they need to diversify.
Yeah.
And it goes at the end. Look at this.
Yeah.
He has like a short intro, right? All right, this is what's happening. He has the effects, like some evidence. Okay, so there are some people that are suffering from this. And then he has his some more evidence, right? So they are benefiting from the increase in carbon dioxide. And then he has his conclusion.
Opinion. Oh, conclusion, yes.
Now, before we look at this, because there's a slide explaining it. These words, mitigate, do you know what it means?
Mitigate is like, it says something like stop that something increase in a bad way, probably.
Yeah. So it's kind of, yeah, like deal with something.
Or try to stop or not. Yeah, I mean, yes, not stop, but try to make them a little bit less.
Yeah, exactly. So try to make the situation better.
Yes.
Okay. Now modernize
is to improve something.
Yeah.
To
update something. And diversify, you know that term.
It looks different ways. Probably.
Yeah. So it's basically add diversity to something. Right. So I think it's a business term as well, right? So like
your market.
Yeah.
Like to how is that? Ampliar.
Exactly. So to extend your.
Yes, to extend.
Okay. So hold on.
Okay.
So this is why he was doing this. So you know how all right, so Ben supports the opinion that some global warming is inevitable, and he wants to talk about what can be done to adapt to the changes that are already happening. So that's why he says, farmers should do this. But if he goes right to that without adding this first part, okay, so it's true that some farmers are struggling and are suffering, are being affected from climate change. So if he doesn't if he doesn't do that, then it's going to be too biased. So he's just talking about the good things, the advantages, right? But he's not really kind of showing empathy towards the people that are suffering from climate change.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants his podcast to appeal to as many people as possible. So in order to appeal to many people, he presents contrasting ideas before presenting his own opinion. So he's like, okay, so it's true that this is happening, but I still think that this is the right way to do this.
Like he's looking for both sides.
Yeah. To be less biased, to be more, more open to other opinions as well.
Mm.
Because if he didn't do that too, this is a podcast. So some people may be commenting on his podcast and be like, okay, but what about the farmers that are having a hard time with rice and with the production of rice and corn and potatoes? So he wants to take everything into account so that then he can present his plan.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to show these contrasting examples, he used those transitions, right? On the one side and on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
What other transitions can he use to do that?
No transitions.
Yes.
In the
Here,
nevertheless, could be.
Yes, perfect. So nevertheless, some crops are being benefited from the increasing.
Yes.
Good. So yes. Or he could also say something like, although farmers on key crops such as corn, potatoes, wheat, and rice are having a hard time, some crops are benefiting from the increase in carbon.
Mm-hmm.
Although, even though, or despite the fact that some farmers are struggling,
could be whereas some
sure.
farmers of the key crops such corn are having hard time, others no. Probably.
It could be. It's showing contrast as well, but whereas is more neutral, because when you say whereas, you're just comparing two sides, but you're not really emphasizing on one of the sides. But when you say nevertheless, for example, you are kind of saying that, so despite of this is still true. So you're showing your kind of your connection to one of the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you don't do that. And what other word would you use instead of, or what other transition instead of, in my opinion, here?
For example, no. No, for example, no. In fact.
Okay, but that's not for presenting your opinion, right? In fact, it's for adding more information.
Mm-hmm.
So if he says they are benefiting from the increase in carbon dioxide, you could say, in fact, some farmers have stated that they are happy about climate change. So he's adding more information, So what else could it be instead of in my opinion?
In my opinion, I'm not sure to show your opinion. According to something, probably.
I mean, you will have to say according to me, right? Farmers need to
me.
But it sounds a bit.
It doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound good.
State.
There are many actually. You could say maybe farmers need.
Me.
Or one that I like a lot is the way I see it. Farmers need to. Or I would say it's not too formal though. Maybe from my point of view, farmers need to. So those are some. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you say your opinion. So this could perfectly be a paragraph for an essay, right? You're presenting your opinion. Okay, let's listen to one more part of the podcast.
Another effect of climate change is the increasing number of extreme weather events, such as heat waves, flooding, and intense hurricanes. As far as I'm concerned, it's the responsibility of the government to prepare for the possibility of these events. In recent years, most local governments have put climate protection plans in place, which provide things like more access to emergency medical services, and even things such as water-permeable pavements to better deal with floods.
Okay. Is that okay? Do you want to listen to it one more time?
Yeah, because I don't understand which one is the question or which one are the answers.
Sorry?
Okay. So there is 3 questions. I have to answer these 3 questions.
Yeah. So let's read the question and then we'll listen.
Okay. I was thinking that there is a question, climate aware, and ABC were the answers.
Oh, okay, okay. No.
And I see the question mark. And
yeah. So let's read the questions and then we'll.
Okay. Which 3 extreme weather events that I mentioned? As far as events concerned, whose responsibility is it to prepare the extreme weather events? The government. Ben mentioned an invention that is permeable. The invention will help control flooding. What is it? Okay.
Okay, let's listen.
Another effect of climate change is the increasing number of extreme weather events, such as heat waves, flooding, and intense hurricanes. As far as I'm concerned, it's the responsibility of the government to prepare for the possibility of these events. In recent years, most local governments have put climate protection plans in place, which provide things like more access to emergency medical services, and even things such as water-permeable pavements to better deal with floods.
Okay. So, what 3 extreme weather events does Ben mention?
Sorry. Well, the extreme weather is increasing heat waves, tornadoes, and it mentioned once, but I don't remember. Like winds, I think. No.
No. It has to do with this.
Water permeable. It mentions water floods.
Yeah, exactly. So floods.
Floods.
Okay. And whose responsibility would it be to prepare for these events?
The government.
The government.
Yes.
And he mentions an invention that's permeable. So what is it?
Water permeable, I think.
Yeah. I mean, permeable means that it the water can pass through it.
Yes. Something that can stop the water floods.
Yeah, but what was the invention? He talks about ways in which governments are trying to prepare for these events, right? Also, he says, for example, for tornadoes, the government is implementing emergency centers so that people, if they get injured, they can attend there.
Yes.
And he says something about the flooding. So what is it?
I mean, I forgot. I couldn't. I don't remember. But yeah, I remember that it says, and then it stopped that. Oh, it stopped the water floods. He mentioned, but I don't remember.
So I think it was the paving, so permeable paving. So in the streets, the pavement is permeable. That means that it's gonna prevent from it to flood. You know, so water
pavement permeable.
Yeah, the permeable pavement.
Permeable pavement.
So yeah.
Pavement. Okay.
Because when it rains, I mean, I think it's kind of damaged, right? The pavement when it rains.
Yes.
So yeah. So, okay. Climate or weather, because in Spanish we say cambio climático, right? So it could be like weather. So what's the difference? Let's see.
I
So
mean, climate is the in general for the. I think it's in general, and the weather is just the station. Like it's gonna rain, windy, or
yeah, exactly.
something
So
like some specific.
exactly.
And
So
climate is in general.
yeah, you every day,
I
for
think.
example, that's right though. So
Uh-huh.
weather is short term. So every day you go up there and you say, so how's the weather today? Or maybe you check the weather forecast and you're like, okay, so today is gonna rain. So it's short term, maybe daily weather. It could also refer to, for example, I guess, so how's the weather in your country? So in that case, it's the weather in general.
Mhm.
But climate refers to long-term weather. So it's like the weather for a decade, maybe. So it's gonna be, what's the weather like today? Or what's the climate of New Zealand? So climate usually for everything. But yeah, it's
For
never gonna
everything.
change. Like it could be climate change, for example, refers to globally, so the worldwide.
Mhm.
You're not,
In Spanish, but I think there is no
there's no
difference.
difference. There's no,
Yeah, because we use ¿cómo está el clima? How is the
but
cambio climático?
most of the time you use weather, even for countries like this one. What's the climate of New Zealand? You could say, how's the weather in New Zealand? That's
How's the
okay.
water? Okay.
So climate, I would say the only way that you use it is for climate change or the climate crisis. And you use it also for moods,
British.
so the atmosphere of something.
Okay.
So the climate. But not when we're talking about weather, it's mostly weather, climate just for climate change. Okay. So, all right, let's skip that part. So this is how some people responded to that. So for example, somebody says, seriously, that was junk. So, or somebody says, you presented a well-balanced argument. So for
Yeah, I
example,
think that.
what would you say?
You have a good point, yeah, Ben.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, he
I
has.
agree. I agree with your opinion, probably.
Okay. So those are formal responses to his. Now, for example, let's read a response. So can you maybe read this one?
Yes. Yes, water conservation is so important. Do you know that less than 2% of the Earth's water supply is fresh water? The problem is that we use so much water, and many of the world's freshwater sources are being drained faster than they're being replenished. Replenished. There is not an infinite supply of water, so until we figure it out some effective water treatment systems, I strongly agree that we need the government to create a clear plan to regulate our water use.
Okay. So he agrees with Ben, right?
Yes,
And
I
he's
like this opinion.
okay. Why?
Yes, because it explained like he's agree with Ben's opinion and explained that yeah, we have a problem. The problem is that we use much water, and we are probably in the next few years we are not gonna have enough water to the world. So we need to figure it out what we can do to stop that. So he agree and he gives her or he her opinion
Okay,
about it.
that's right. So yeah, this writer, this person agrees with Ben, and he acknowledges that there's a problem, and then he also agrees with the solution that Ben has already proposed, right, about involving the government.
Yes.
So yeah. How would you describe the writer's style?
I think it's very clear. Like here's not. I mean, the person is not like in the middle. The person has ideas clear. Like yeah, I think that.
Yeah, their ideas were clear, and it's quite formal, right?
Yeah, that's so.
It's formal. Do you think he's making a relevant point to the topic?
Relevant point. So according to the topic about farmers, because the topic talk about farmers.
Not necessarily farmers. It was about adapting to change.
Adapting to change. So, mm, so yes, because he in the comments says that there's not an infinite supply of water. So until we figure it out, the government need to create a clear plan to regulate our water use. So here shows that we need to adapt, or government need to make something that we can adapt. So yeah, I think it's relevant to the topic.
Yeah, it is. Because it's talking about a climate problem and agreeing with the solution that was proposed.
Yeah.
When something's not related to the topic, we say that it's off topic.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And how do you think other readers would react to this response?
I mean, probably I depends. Like I always says that some people can say why we need to start from the government, why we can start by ourselves. No, we don't need the government. We can change starting for us. So that could be a point.
Good. That's great. So yeah, it could be a counterpoint. It could be a point. But then somebody else could say, yeah, but you can start for yourself. But how are you gonna, how are you gonna prevent other people from doing the opposite of what you're doing? So how are you gonna convince other people to do
Explaining
this?
my opinion like he's doing. So yeah, showing the problems, like I know that we use much water and what would happen to our childs or grandsons, explaining how the problem will increase in the future. Maybe starting for that.
Okay. Yeah. Careful with children, right? The word children.
Childs, yes. It's the second time.
Okay. So, all right, these are types for writing responses, but these are just general types. Like first thing is that you need to be careful of your style. So you can decide to be informal if you want. It doesn't have to be this formal, but you still need to be polite. I think a lot of people get confused of, politeness versus formality. So
okay. What I make mistake when I called it, when I was looking for a house in Korani, polite and
yeah. Okay, so yes. So yeah, some people get confused. So sometimes you're formal and you're polite, and somebody can misread that.
yes.
But yeah. But generally speaking, especially if it's a response to not somebody specifically, but in this case to Ben's channel and the podcast. So yeah, you can try to be formal. It depends on the situation.
And it depends how it's been podcast. Like it's free for opinion and people can feel free on saying whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if it were a different type of podcast, maybe, the one that talks about relationships or celebrities. So yeah, it will be important. So the second one is you need to reread your post, make sure that everything's in order, that you like it, that your grammar's good, spelling. Well, that's something that you need to do for everything that you write. Use good manners, so that's stay polite. Don't use capital letters. That makes somebody seem rude when you use capital letters or a lot of exclamation.
Like, are you mad?
Like, why are you yelling at me? So, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to turn off.
Yeah.
Or,
it happens.
yes.
And the exclamation marks as well. Usually in English, we use a lot of exclamation marks, more than Spanish, I would say. But it depends on how much emotion you want to show. And it depends because it could be positive or it could be negative as well. So usually just one of them.
But this is when you talk or when you write?
When you write.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you speak, you cannot use exclamation marks, right?
Yes. Like, haha, exclamation marks. Or...
yeah.
No.
Exclamation mark. No, imagine somebody speaking like that. And yeah, it's okay if you want to show your opinion, whether you agree or disagree with something. But not everyone has to agree with what you're saying. That's the thing about it.
Everyone has a different opinion.
Yeah, that's why you have the expression, right? Let's agree to disagree. So you agree to disagree when you don't find some common ground, but you're gonna say, okay, we just have different opinions. We agree to disagree.
Yes.
Like, okay, let's read this one here. This is a different type of response.
Okay, I read?
Yes, please.
Okay, of course, we can change things. Everyone knows that. People should just use their energy more wisely. It isn't rocket science. Use common sense and stop being selfish. How? Don't use a car. Stop being addicted to electronic gadgets. Be vegan. It's wrong to eat animal. It's wrong to eat animals. I don't. What about you?
Okay. So that person there is making a point. But what do you think?
Like the way that he used capital letters and exclamation marks and everything.
Yeah. What do you
It's
think
informal.
It is informal.
Too informal.
And not only informal, it also seems a bit aggressive to me.
Yes. Like, why are you like that? Stop being that.
And that's not a good technique, especially if you're trying to show your opinion. You need to be like them, right? You need to try to empathize with everyone.
Yes.
Try to convince somebody, because when you yell at them or you're like this, then you're not gonna
So
achieve it.
you can be a little bit polite. Don't use a car. You better use a bike, or you can do exercise. Explain ways to don't use a car.
And also this expression, right? Like, this isn't rocket science. So that's making you look like you were a child and you were like, basically he's saying this isn't something so hard. Like, can you understand this? Like this. Use common sense. It means like you're not using your common sense right now because you're not a vegan.
Are you dumb? Or probably yes.
So yeah, that would be not such an effective response. So those are more responses. Okay. So, all right, and that was Ben's podcast.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, I think it was good to see a little bit of the structure of writing and both because it's the same, the written and spoken structure of an argumentative essay or presentation. It's kind of the same.
Yes, it's kind of the same. But for me, I think it's easier, like the way to speak or prepare a speech or presentation than write an essay. I mean, probably it's the same, like the same structure, but it's, I don't know, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you are prepared, right? Because if you're not prepared, like it's the same if I say something, okay, so tomorrow you're gonna write an essay on this topic, so you can be prepared.
Yes.
Maybe that's why. Because
okay. Yeah,
because
that's
when you
good.
write, you also have the chance to reread your essay and then read it.
To look for information. Yes. That's one point that I hate about writing an essay, because you have like 30 minutes or 20, and probably could be the easiest topic, like something that all people know. But in my head is like, I don't know, a lot of ideas, and I don't know where to start and what will be my principal idea, the main idea of that.
So yeah, it's true. I think that, in order to, first thing, you need to try to do an outline. Like, especially if it's your idea, so that you have everything there, you know what you're gonna say and what your ideas are gonna be. And then I would say don't try to make it so perfect, because that's
Yes. No, it was very good, this podcast.
Yeah, it was a good one. Tomorrow I was thinking we can do some advanced grammar because I found a great presentation on advanced grammar. So it has something like, let's see. So the good thing, for example, in the TOEFL, when you write, you can, I mean, you structure counts and vocabulary and all that, but you also need to show a little bit of complexity in the sentences that you're using, even in the grammar that you're using, in the structures that you're using. So it's important to try to make it a bit more complex than just like a spoken thing.
To look intellectual. Yeah.
Yeah, to look like you have mastered all that grammar.
Okay.
That's what we were saying, right? Like, for example, here you have something about negative inversions, right? So if you maybe use this grammar, then it adds some points. So we're gonna be seeing those grammar.
A new ways to say different things. Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing is that you can memorize this. Like, you can memorize a phrase or something or a structure that you're gonna use, and you don't have to think about it. You're just gonna remember what it was. So yeah, that's the good thing about the writing and speaking.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But I don't know if you have any questions for today.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. So I'm gonna send the survey, but this time we have two surveys. I don't know why, but I'm gonna send two surveys to you, and some of the questions are gonna be the same. But anyhow, you need to fill them out twice.
Okay.
So yeah, I was a bit confused.
Okay, the next.
Okay, that's the first one. And the second one.
Okay.
Okay.
The two.
So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. It was
Yeah, yeah, we still have class tomorrow, right? And then yeah. So I'll
how?
see you
Sorry?
tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah, see you tomorrow. I also think that tomorrow will be Christmas Eve, but it's not. So,
Yeah, still. Okay.
yes.
See you.
So I'm sorry. Before we go, and how is going to be score these classes?
I think they don't have a score.
Okay. We only need to have 4 classes.
Yeah, we just need to review.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
their score.
It's okay. So I think that's all. Thank you, Andrea. See you tomorrow.